Take advantage of the above-ground swimming pool sale happening now at Bonzall Pool & Spa. All in-stock swimming pools are 50% off through the end of May while supplies last. You don't want to miss out on this hot deal. Visit our showroom at 33rd and Pioneers today. Learn more about the promotion at bonzallpool.com. Bonzall Pool & Spa, every day made better.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Adam Carriker on The Ticket.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 5-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. Every Monday, noon to 1, the fastest hour in radio each and every week. And I know what you're thinking if you're watching me on YouTube. Holy cow. Adam, when's the last time you've shaved? You're growing a beard. Well, I shaved at like 6 this morning. I just can't help it. This is what happens. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like that there's not just brown in there. It used to be a little bit of red. I'm not a natural redhead, but it used to come out. But now there's, what is this white crap? What is that? I turned 39 over the weekend, so I'm not quite 40. My grandpa used to say you're not old until you're 80. So I'm far from being old, so to speak, per my grandpa's words. I got another year until I don't know, when are you officially middle-aged? Is it 40, 50, whatever the case may be? Is it when the gray hairs, there's more gray hairs than non-gray hairs? How does that work? My wife got on me for not shaving. I will shave. I just had a lot of fun this weekend over the birthday weekend. Thank you for everyone who took the time to wish me kind birthday wishes. As a true youth sports parent, I spent the entire weekend at baseball games, softball games, soccer games. My wife's team won their championship. They're one of the best teams in the state, so congratulations to them. Also, a shout out to my wife, Angie. She's been nominated for Soccer Coach of the Year as well. She's phenomenal at what she does, as well as being the CEO of the Carriker household. Now, really quick, I've got a pretty awesome guest ready to come on, Mr. Vershan Jackson, the captain himself. But before I bring him on, I want to give you a rundown of today's show. We got a lot of stuff to cover, to talk about. Of course, I want to talk about the tight end room with Mr. Vershan Jackson. Nobody understands that room better than he does. Then I want to talk about the running back room. I want to talk about the three main guys. Of course, there's other guys in that room. I love always seeing the guys who surprise everybody and step up and earn a starting job and or playing time throughout the season. But I want to talk about the running backs a little bit more in depth, at least the top three names that are out there right now. Then Colorado. I mean, what are they? I don't know whether to be shocked, amazed, impressed, horrified by what Deion's doing out there in Colorado. I mean, when you go 1-11 the year before, anything you do has got to be better. I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about how are they going to be able to find team chemistry with all these new guys? They're going to have anywhere from 75 to 80 new scholarship guys. You have 85 guys on scholarship per the rules in the NCAA right now. So that's like a 90% turnover rate as far as just their scholarship guys. But how does that also show Husker fans, hey, if they're trying to do something similar in Colorado, well, I don't know if anything's similar to that, but we're bringing in some new guys here as well. Probably going to have a new starting quarterback in Jeff Sims this year. How can the Huskers gel? All right, comparatively speaking. And then one of the best to ever do it here at the University of Nebraska, Neil Smith, his son committed to the University of Nebraska over the weekend, Mr. Keelan Smith. We want to chat about that as well. And a story that I may or may not have shared pertaining to Neil Smith. I think I've shared it one time here before, but if I haven't, I'll share it for the first time. If I shared it before, it'll be the second time because that's how that works. But before I dive into Mr. Vershan Jackson, all right, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, GE Landscape and Supply in Lincoln. All right, sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money. All right, buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. They deliver anywhere, and if you mention you heard this ad on 93.7 The Ticket, they'll deliver in town for free. Just drop my name, ladies and gentlemen. It'll help you out a little bit there. All right, through the month of April, that is. All right, some restrictions do apply, but go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. Also, send in any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts you may have. All right, as always, text 402-464-5685, and I will try to get to as many of your questions as I can here on the fastest hour in radio each and every week. Adam Carriker on The Ticket, noon to 1. Have lunch with me each and every Monday. But I want to bring on my guest, Mr. Vershan Jackson. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, big fella. Looks like you're doing all right. Looks like you're back in the weight room.
Well, you can only see me from the neck up, so you must be referring to my enormous neck and or trap area. I mean, it's not what it used to be, let's be honest. But I'm trying to get back there. I'm trying to get to your level. How were you? I saw your 400-meter dash. I noticed they didn't show the ambulance off to the side. That was at the ready, but I saw your 400-meter dash. How did that go, my friend?
I mean, it went good. It went well. I beat Nick's time of 125, and I did it in 121. It made me feel good to be 48 years old and be able to even complete a 400. So, I think, with proper training, you can do anything you set your mind to do.
I have a dog. I'm not well versed in track. I don't know. On Wikipedia, it used to say that I boxed at Nebraska Wesleyan at one point. I don't know if they ever got that changed because that is not true and kind of ridiculous that I would do a sport at two different universities. But also said I was a long jump champion in high school. Equally ridiculous. Never done a millisecond of track in my life. But my 6th grade daughter's doing track. And I tell you what, she loves the 100, the 200, the long jump. But the first time she did the 400 meter, she hit about 300 and you could just see the look on her face like, oh my God, this is a lot harder and there's a lot more left in front of me that I had anticipated. Do the 400 and the 800 could be the two most brutal races in all of track. So I thought you looked pretty impressive doing that, and I wanted to let you know that.
Well, big fella, I appreciate it. And those are the two most grueling races, I think, because you got to be smart when you're running a 400. The last thing you ever want to do is start fast. Because if you start as fast as you can, it's going to do exactly what your daughter did. Once you get to the 300, the lactic acid's going to build up. Before you know, it's going to be hard to finish that last 100. So you gotta start out and finish at the same rate of speed, at least, and have something left in the tank just in case it's a foot race.
Well, I thought that was pretty impressive. Go check out that video of Vershan doing the 400-meter dash. All right, if you haven't done so yet. And a quick shout out to my daughter, Addison. She actually qualified for nationals as a 6th grader. She's competing with 7th and 8th graders in the 100, 200. Did not make it in long jump, but she's going to continue to work on that. She has dropped the 400, and now she's doing the 4x1 relay with 3 of her good friends. But Vershan, I brought you on. There's no better guy in the state of Nebraska, probably the Midwest, probably planet Earth, to talk to about tight ends. All right, our tight end room here at the University of Nebraska is loaded with talent. No, I didn't break up. I don't know why I chose to say it that way, but I did. Loaded. All right, we have the number 1 tight end in the 2021 recruiting class, 6'6", Thomas Fedoni, right here locally in Nebraska. And you got Eric Gilbert, the number 1 tight end in the 2020 class, top 5 overall recruit in general, 2-time national champ at Georgia in this room. So I want to talk to you about those two guys, but then you watch the spring game. Okay, Eric had a couple of drops. I believe Fedoni had 1 catch, and Matt Rules talked about his work ethic, and you can see that Fedoni is motivated. You can see he is motivated. I love that. But the guy who actually led all, I'm just going to call him pass catchers, in receptions, okay, was actually a walk-on named Nate Borkesher. So my question is this. What are your thoughts on this tight end room, and who ultimately is going to end up starting come that first game in your way too early prediction right here, right now?
You got to give the nod to Nate. I'm not as big on the tight end room probably as you think, and
okay.
Probably you are. I think we are loaded with talent, but you said how big was the 2021 best tight end? 6'6"?
Thomas Fedoni, 6'6", and he's listed at 235.
Now let me ask you something, big fella. At the height of your career, you were how much?
290, 295. 290, 295.
Do you think that he could block you?
Well, I don't think anybody could block me. I don't think anybody could block me, but I would have a significant weight advantage. Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I love Fedoni. I think he's got to put more weight on, though. He has got to use this offseason to put on 20 pounds of muscle. Because when you're dealing with the Adam Carrikers of the world, when you're dealing with these defensive ends that got great motors, but they've got great body leverage, he's going to have to deal with that in the Big Ten. I thought we did not block well as a tight end group in the spring game. Yeah, we've got to get better blocking. Now, I thought Fedoni did a decent job blocking, but again, he's tall. He's 6'6", so his body lead and leverage has got to be good every single time in order to set the edge. What we haven't seen at Nebraska in a long time is tight ends setting the edge, being able to run sweeps, being able to run pitches, anything that'll attack the outside corners of a defense. And when I say that, I don't mean the cornerbacks. I mean those defensive ends and things where you can pop something and go yard. The big guy, Gilbert, I thought that he did a great job in his route running. But then when it came to catching, it wasn't too good for him. He didn't have a good day at all catching the ball. And I did not see him in a lot of blocking formations where he was in. Like when he caught those balls or with the balls that he dropped, it seemed to me that he was flexed out. If I've got a guy that looks like that, that's a monster in his pads, that can run, I want him to start on the inside destroying stuff. Now, here's what I'll tell you, Adam. I think Coach Rule is way smarter than we're giving him credit for. I think he played guys out of position. Now, when I say that, I mean, you didn't see all those receivers, that the top three guys on the same team at one time. And so I think that tight end room has got to get better from a standpoint of blocking at the point of attack. And I would love to see, if you put Gilbert out there flexed out, let's run a quick hitter, with one of those little fleeks, or throw a screen pass out there, or a swing pass, where basically you're getting your running back with the big fella out there blocking.
It's interesting when you talk about setting the edge. Essentially, what you're talking about is pinning the outside defender. In a 4-3, it's a defensive end, and a 3-4, it's that outside backer. Pinning them inside so you can get outside and get big runs. It's interesting because from my perspective, I've heard setting the edge a million times as my life as a D end. I want to set the edge, as in I want to be outside and I want to be knocking the edge blocker or outside blocker backwards. Okay. And so for me, that is something that is imperative, as you talked about, something we have not done successfully in a while. And it's something that's challenging because most times a 4-3 DN like myself, or an outside backer in a 3-4, they're lined up outside. And so it's hard to overtake them unless you catch them off guard, or unless you just straight up want it more than them, because we're lined up out there for a reason, because it's very important that we set the edge. So it's challenging. It was not lost on me that, at one point, Eric Gilbert, and I forget if it was LSU or Georgia, he was actually moved to wide receiver. This dude looks like a top 5 draft pick, but does he want to block like a starting tight end on any team? Is, I think, what you're getting at. And you look at Thomas Fedoni, he does need to put a little bit of weight on. My question for you is this, because what grabs headlines is a little bit different than what coaches look for when it comes to playtime and starters. When people, and I'm just going to grab some names that everybody knows. It keeps it easy and simple. Travis Kelce. Everybody talks about his catching, not so much his blocking. Tony Gonzalez back in the day, his catching, not so much his blocking. So my question to you is, what is more important to you from a tight end, to be a better blocker first or a pass catcher first?
I would say blocker first. I mean, the greats were everything. I played with Tony Gonzalez at Kansas City. And let me tell you something. You talk about a guy who had an intense desire to get you blocked. And if he didn't block you, he at least shielded you so you wasn't able to make the play. If you went up the field, if you were, and he knew where the play was going, he knew exactly, he'd invite you up the field. Guys that understand where the ball is going, and that I don't have to necessarily get a great block on you. I just have to get a good block on you long enough, a split second. You know as well as I do, Adam. In the NFL, things happen in a second. That hole will open and close for a running back in a millisecond. If he done got his butt through that hole, it's over with. And so I think being a blocker, I'll say 60-40 for the great ones. If you were going to have a great running back, look at Jay Novacek.
Yep. Cowboys tight end.
Great pass catcher. But if you go and look at Jay Novacek in the run game and understand who was Jay Novacek blocking for, who was that running back? Was it Emmitt Smith?
It was Emmitt Smith, yep.
How many yards did Emmitt Smith have from scrimmage?
Yep.
So when I look at that, the tight ends set the edge. They help the tackles, right? Okay, so when you think tight end, a tight end is so dynamic in the blocking game that a tight end can literally block on one side 5 different positions. He can go from going against the D end to doubling the D tackle to blocking coming down on the middle backer to bubbling out on the outside backer to blocking the force, the rover, to blocking the safety to going and get the corner. So if you got a guy like that understands a running scheme, when one guy leaves and you go down, a tight end understands, hey, my guy took himself out to play. Instead of chasing that guy around, go to the next level and get the next guy. When you get that guy, that tight end, I think you'll start to get a different perspective of player.
You make a great,
and we will start to not only set the edge, but dominate the line of scrimmage, and the edge will be ours. Because those big runs, I'm telling you, come from outside plays.
you make a great point, because most times tight ends don't weigh as much as the guys they're trying to block. Sometimes tight ends are 240, 250, maybe 260. You know, I think Gronk was maybe 270, but a lot of times those ends, they're 270, 280. Sometimes they're lighter if they're outside backers in a 3-4. Some of the best blockers as tight ends I've ever seen were incredibly smart position blockers. They knew how to get, like you said, they knew how to get their body in the right spot, even though they may not be able to overpower a lot of D ends. And sometimes there's big tight ends. Those guys are usually just glorified offensive linemen that come in short yardage situations. But they just knew how to get their body in the right spot to get your body out of the right spot, and then the running back would hit it. And before you knew it, you were out of your gap. Your D-line coach was ripping into you like a monkey on a cupcake, and the tight end was jogging back smiling. And so you make a great point with that, okay? It's not always about just trying to overpower somebody if you're not quite as big as they are. It's being smarter, and it's being able to position block and get your body in the right position. Now, if you can just overpower them, obviously that's phenomenal as well. So, hey, man, I've been trying to get you on for a couple of weeks. You played a major role in me just being on the ticket. You were the first one to reach out to me. So I've been wanting to have you on the guest as a guest on the show for a while. So thank you for joining me, my friend.
Hey, man, appreciate you having me, Big Adam, man, and enjoy the show. And we got some great weather, man. Go Big Red.
All right. Thank you, Vershan. I'll have him on the show, of course, again at some point in the near future as well. And as Vershan was chatting, it was interesting. Two stories popped into my head. When I was with the Rams, and I'm just going to share the story. I know Dominique. He wouldn't mind me sharing. He'd laugh himself. Okay, Dominique Byrd was an insanely talented tight end from USC who was drafted the year before I was to the St. Louis Rams, back when the Rams were in St. Louis. And when I got to camp, my first training camp, they started talking about the Bird rule. I'm like, what is the Bird rule? Are we walking around flipping each other off? What does that mean? It meant that if Dominique Byrd blocked you as a defensive end, and by then they'd moved me to nose guard, so I hardly ever dealt with Dominique, but if he blocked you, you had an immediate down and back of the whole field, okay, because he was a great pass catcher. How do I put this? Not great blocker. And so we had what was called the Bird rule. If he blocked you, you immediately just ran. And, you know, Dominique was a great dude. He would laugh if he knew I shared that story. But that was called the Bird rule. I'd never heard of the Bird rule before in my life until then. And another story, it was the year the Super Bowl was in New York. I could be wrong. I think that was Broncos versus Seahawks, where the Seahawks kind of slaughtered the Broncos, so to speak. I might be mistaken, but I think I'm correct on that. Somebody text me and correct me if I'm wrong. And the ESPN party earlier that week was either Wednesday or Thursday night. I was going to the party and I was waiting in line like, you know, everyone else, all the other mere mortals. And here comes Tony Gonzalez. Speaking of Tony Gonzalez, he walks right by everybody. Okay. As you know, one of the greats of all time, is most likely going to be able to do in just about any situation related to the NFL. And they wouldn't let him in. He was furious. He was like furious, and not like a jerk kind of way, but like, I know a lot of people in there type way. What's the deal? And it was funny because while he was waiting, he shook everybody's hand. He was perfectly friendly. And he was like, you know, I'll just go to the back of the line. We're all like, no, if you know somebody, go on in. But it was so funny just to kind of see how he interacted and he reacted. because, a lot of guys could have thrown a big fit. He was mad at first, but then ultimately he just kind of chuckled, laughed, and then just honestly signed a lot of autographs, took a lot of pictures with everybody. He turned out to be, at least in that moment in time, pretty good dude. The only interaction I've ever had with Tony Gonzalez directly, but he was a pretty good dude. All right. So the rest of this show, I want to chat about, like I mentioned, the running backs, the RBs, at least the top three that stick out in my mind at this moment in time. That can obviously change. All right, Colorado, they're basically trading their entire football team for a different football team from players from other football teams. It's actually kind of fun to watch, very entertaining. Okay, and then Keelan Smith, who just committed, Neil Smith's son, who just committed to the Huskers over the weekend. Now, when you look at these running backs, it's interesting, the top three that stick out to me. And Matt Rule talked about Gabe Ervin in the offseason. If you remember, before he got hurt a couple of years ago, he was, and think about this, think about all the great running backs that have come through the University of Nebraska. It's a long list. Might as well, if I tried to list them all, we'd be here probably till the end of the show. But he was the first running back in the University of Nebraska football history to start his first game as a true freshman. Ended up getting hurt a few games into the season. Okay, last year played sparingly at times, but clearly has impressed Coach Rule over the offseason. This is a guy, 6 foot, 220 pounds, young guy, sophomore. He's got the speed combined with the power, and something tells me he's probably going to be our starting running back. But what I like about this, and A.J. Allen transferring, he was a young, talented guy. But like I mentioned last week right here on this show, it was only one ball. And sometimes when you got too many people who want it, it can create more issues. And so what this does is it's going to give the talented guys we already have the ball more often, which could, silver lining, potentially be better. Because then you look at Anthony Grant, number 1 junior college running back in the country. He was our leading rusher a year ago. This is a guy with explosiveness everywhere you look. All right. He's just an explosive, fast individual. I know he had, he was suspended very briefly at the beginning of camp. So hopefully him and Coach Rule are more on the same page at this point in time than they were then. All right, and I'm sure that will happen more and more as time goes along. But this is a guy you can put back as a returner as well, and he's going to make and break big plays. You look at a guy like Ramir Johnson with legit track speed. I wrote down, all right, talking about track, he ran the 100-meter dash in 10.5 and the 200 in 21.46. That's some pretty good speed. He was by far absolutely one of the fastest kids in his state. Okay, when he was in high school. He brings legit track speed. The guy 5'10", 180 pounds. So you've got a 220-pound just physical runner in Gabe. You got Anthony, who's kind of in the middle, who can be your bell cow if he needs, just like he showed a year ago. Hopefully he gets better blocking consistently than he did a season ago. And then Ramir Johnson, a guy who, what was it, 2-3 years ago when he had to step in, may have even been the COVID season in 2020, when he had to step in for a few games and he showed what he could do. You've got guys that can be physical. You've got a speed guy and Ramir Johnson. You got Anthony who can do just about anything. You got guys you can rotate him and keep him fresh if somebody gets banged up. Okay, you still got 2 backs there, and that's if nobody else steps up in that running back room, and I'm hoping somebody else does just in case we need them. And you can always put these guys. I'm a big fan of putting running backs back as returners, especially if you got a loaded running back room. Now, I don't know if they're going to do that. More so on kickoff returns, you need someone who's definitely not the running backs can't, but who's definitely going to catch that punt, because those punts kind of wobble back and forth like a knuckleball in the air. They're a little bit more challenging to catch. Okay, so I'm excited about this running backs room. To put a button on the tight ends room, I love what Vershan said. If you notice, I've talked about how talented the tight end room is. I waited to give thoughts on the tight end room because I wanted Vershan to give them. We need people who are going to block first, especially if we want to run the football. You've got to be able to block, even if it's position blocking, outsmarting blocking. If you can just dominate blocking, that's phenomenal as well. If you can get that out of your tight ends. More often than not, you can't, because they're trying to catch and block, which is hard to do. But you got to have someone who can create a corner, pin the edge defender, pin them outside if you're trying to run power or counter or some sort of inside run. I don't care if it's fullback trap, whatever the case may be. We got to be able to block first. Then hopefully someone can catch the football when it's thrown their way. We will be right back, easy for me to say, right back, BACK, after this break.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Spring is here and it's time to wake up Judson. Judson Irrigation is eager and ready to get your sprinkler system up and running for the season. Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
Walters Painting Incorporated salutes our Vietnam veterans for Memorial Day, May 29th. Our Vietnam veterans fought in a difficult, complex war. Please offer the long overdue respect they deserve. Jeff Walters of Walters Painting Incorporated is your interior, exterior, commercial, and residential painter. He doesn't cut corners, he paints them. To book an estimate, visit walterspainting.com or call 402-730-1781.
It's springtime, and you know what that means. It's sandal season at Brown Shoe Fit. To celebrate the start of the season, we're offering $10 off sandals under $105 and $15 off sandals $110 or more, now through May 14th. Enjoy brands like Atrex, Teva, Clarks, Taos, Keen, and many more on sale now. This deal won't last long, so come on down to Brown Shoe Fit for our spring sandal sale. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details. Brown Shoe Fit Lincoln, 66 NQ.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies, warm temps yet again here for our Monday. We'll see an afternoon high near 84. Winds out of the west at around 10 to 15. Overnight mainly clear, a low down to around 58. We'll see increasing clouds tomorrow and a chance of some showers and thunderstorms with a high back near 80. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. Just a friendly reminder, have lunch with me every Monday from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully something intelligent is said at some point during the fastest hour of radio each and every week here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, I want to revisit the running back room real quick. Honestly, I could spend so much time on each and every one of these subjects, but I have a short attention span, so I try to keep it short for other folks as well. The running back room, because it's funny, immediately everyone goes with tight ends to catching, making the big play, all right? Immediately, Vershan Jackson, who knows better than him, he went right to blocking. Who's going to block? And if Matt Rule wants to run the football, we got to be able to move people at the point of attack. We got to be able to create holes. We got to have running backs who are going to hit people in the mouth, make people miss, run people over, down after down after down, put their foot in the ground, and hit somebody in the mouth, which, by the way, is easier said than done. I won't name a name, but there was a running back that I played with in Nebraska. He was known for closing his eyes as he went through the hole. True story, unfortunately. But here is my point. Okay, when you come back to the running back room, something that gets left out a lot of the time is who is willing to block in blitz pickup. A lot of times the running back who comes in on third down situations, when you're most likely going to throw the ball, a lot of times it's your best pass catcher. A lot of times it's the guy you trust to pick up a blitzing linebacker or a blitzing safety. And I'll tell you, from watching their one-on-one drills, so offensive linemen, defensive linemen, we do one-on-one pass rush drills. Well, running backs and linebackers, they do one-on-one drills as well, where a linebacker blitzes and the running back's got to pick them up. Now, if you think about it, the running back, his forward momentum is only about, I don't know, maybe a yard. While he's 4 or 5 yards off the ball, well, that linebacker's got about a 3, 4, maybe 5 yard head start. It takes a special kind of guy to be willing to step up and meet a linebacker. First of all, you got to know who to block. You got to understand the passing protections, which a lot of times with running backs, I don't want to say they overlook, but they don't prioritize. They prioritize getting the ball. What am I going to do when I'm running with the ball, when I catch the ball? A lot of times, blitz pickup is not prioritized. So a lot of times the guys you see in on third down aren't just the pass catchers out of the backfield, but they're the guys who are going to know who to pick up. Okay, they understand the audibles at the line of scrimmage. They know how to scan inside out. You want to go inside out because if you pick up the outside guy, the inside guys are going to get there quicker. It's just basic geometry, shorter line. I got to be in geometry, so I'm not an expert, that's for sure, but I understand basic geometry. It's the guys who are willing to block. It takes a different kind of guy to be willing to block a guy with a 5-4 yard head start who probably outweighs you as well. Most linebackers tend to outweigh most running backs. I'm full of stories today. Okay. There weren't many people. I didn't have a problem hitting somebody in the mouth over and over and over, whether I was winning or losing. If you pancake me, I was going to get up. You better do it again. Didn't happen a lot. But I had no problem hitting somebody in the mouth over and over and over. My D-line coach in St. Louis called me square helmet. I thought it was an insult. He's like, no, you're like a battering ram. I was like, okay. It still makes me sound dumb, but I guess I'll go. I was a rookie. What was I going to say? All right. Pork chop. If anybody remembers pork chop. All right. Corey. He had, how do I say this? He had the extreme leverage advantage on me. I'll put it like that. Okay. He was a lot shorter than I was. I came free one time as a D end on a I think it was a zone blitz. And Corey was supposed to pick me up. You want to talk about a guy that I am significantly physically outweigh. There was no hesitation in his game. He hit me right. And I mean, in the mouth. I mean, just based on where his helmet was and my helmet was because of the height differential, I was a lot taller. Ergo, he was a lot lower. He hit me right in the chin. with the top of his helmet, simply because that's where he was and I was based on our height, and I needed to get my butt lower. He split my chin wide open. The only time I can ever remember in my life thinking, do I want to hit this guy, was the very next play when I came through again and he stepped up to hit me. That's the only time I can remember hesitating for a split second. I think I was still wiping the blood off of I think it was a white jersey because I wasn't a black shirt yet. I don't know if I was in the yellow jersey. It was my freshman year. I can't remember because you went from white to yellow and then to black back in the day. I don't think they do the yellow jerseys anymore. Yellow kind of indicated second team. Anyways, I digress. My chin was gushing. The blood was all over whatever color jersey I had. And that's the only time I can remember hesitating. Now, that doesn't mean I was a tough guy. Maybe I just lacked intelligence and didn't understand, hey, maybe you don't want to run your head into a wall all the time. But that guy had no problem stepping up and blocking somebody. Not only was he a great running back and had great hands out of the backfield, that's why he played 3 downs, because he would block and blitz pickup as well. Good old pork chop. I actually chatted with him via DM on Twitter the other day. He's doing well, in case you find folks are wondering. Now, I just wanted to revisit that briefly when it came to running backs, because who's going to be willing to block? And if you are called upon to be a lead blocker on like a wide receiver motion sweep type deal, which I don't know that we're going to do a ton, but are you willing to be a lead blocker? Whatever the case may be. All right. What if we do some sort of, quarterback power and you're called upon to be a lead blocker every once in a while? It may not happen a ton. Are you willing to lead through the hole and hit a linebacker? All right. Let's go to Colorado. This is a topic, a team, a coach, Coach Prime. I've said it before. I'll say it again, probably and again. My favorite NFL player when I was growing up. Okay. My favorite college player was Trev Alberts, Wistrom, Frazier, Behringer. Those were probably my top 4. Okay. As far as NFL, it was Deion, Mike Vick. Again, our games were so different. I love people that are just different than me, especially when it comes to sports. I love watching other people's games and how they play and what they do in an effort just to try to get better in my own right. Now, I was a high school quarterback, very different type quarterback than Mike Vick, but Deion Sanders is a guy who is a celebrity among celebrities. Okay, he's a guy who's doing something at Colorado that's never been done before. They were down. I lost track. At one point, they had 51 transfers. They could be up to like 1.4 million transfers at this point. I'm going to round down when I say that number. Okay, but at one point, they were down to 12 scholarship guys on their team. 12. That's crazy. That's like a youth baseball team. My son's baseball team has 12 players on it right now for 13U. But alas, they have brought their numbers back up. Okay, I know they were back up to 71, maybe 73 scholarship guys. They anticipate more new guys coming in. They have the number 1 transfer portal class in the country right now. They could have high 70s, mid 70s, close to 80 new scholarship guys on their roster. That is crazy to me. Now, like I said earlier in this show, if you weren't here, when you go 1-11, it's hard to argue that anything you do isn't going to improve the team. He clearly wants to overhaul the roster. When he was talking about his luggage being Louis and essentially get out in that first team meeting, which a highly controversial meeting at the time, okay, he meant it. He very clearly meant it. And so he's bringing in his guys, so to speak. And some of the players who've left are, not too thrilled with how Coach Prime is handling things. And that's going to happen when there's a roster overhaul like this. They talked about how the coaches there wouldn't talk to them unless you were one of their guys and, didn't even know their names and things of that nature. And only the new guys got paid attention to. The one thing I did find interesting, that's if you're trying to get people to leave because you want to bring in your guys, college football is a business, as much as people, I think, are starting to realize that, especially with all these new TV deals. I'm not justifying. I'm not arguing against or for. I'm simply relaying the facts as I know them about what Deion's doing. But college football is a business, and if you're trying to win games, there go, keep your job, maybe get a raise, maybe in his eyes, maybe not, get a better job down the road. That was his approach. There was a defensive lineman who played in the playoffs with Michigan, transferred to Colorado in January, and he transferred out right after the spring game. So he was clearly one of their guys, and now he's not. All right. So I watch what Deion's doing, and I'm like, how are you going to have any sort of team chemistry? how is this going to work? Because Nebraska's coming into town. The second game of the year for us. We got Minnesota. Then we got Colorado. Okay. In Boulder, Colorado. Beautiful field, by the way. If you've got asthma, the altitude isn't phenomenal, and that was my case, but I digress. We can revisit that another day. I am so excited for that game beyond just Dion, beyond just Matt Rule and Matt Rule versus Dion and Nebraska, Colorado, and that's a fun rivalry to revisit. They're not going to like that I said this, but big brother, little brother, let's be real. Okay. And I'm also curious to see, how does his team look? I mean, just something as simple as getting the snap from the center, the handoff to the running back. I mean, they didn't just overhaul this roster throughout the winter. They did it after spring ball, which means most of these guys aren't going to have spring ball reps together. They're only going to have fall camp reps together, which means you not only don't have months worth of reps together, you've got weeks worth of reps together. A lot of these teams that are doing really good have been together for 2, 3, 4 years. Now the transfer portal has changed a lot of that. And you can make an argument. Hey, Adam, Caleb Williams goes out to USC year 1, wins the Heisman Trophy. Jalen Hurts goes out to Oklahoma, Heisman Trophy finalist. Joe Burrow goes to LSU after leaving Ohio State, wins the Heisman Trophy. That was year 2 at LSU, but still pretty freaking impressive. I'm just curious to see how they look from a cohesive standpoint. Are they going to have busts on coverages, busts on blitzes? You know, are they going to have guys missing blocking assignments? I just talked about running backs knowing who to block. Vershan talked about tight ends, just at least knowing how to position block, if nothing else. It's going to be interesting to watch that team. They may be the most improved team from the first game of the year to the last game, just simply because they're actually going to have practiced together. Now, when you look at Nebraska, new quarterback, Jeff Sims. Okay, probably a new starter at running back appears to be Gabe Ervin at this point in time. We got a whole fall camp to go through. Teddy Prohaska is going to be back. Nadine Newilly is going to be back. A lot of the O-linemen will be back, right? We have a transfer from Arizona State starting at center who looked good in the spring game. Okay, hopefully Turner Corcoran is healthy. Bryce Benhart, they're giving another chance. Okay, how are we going to gel? But a lot of these guys have been around each other outside of the transfer from Arizona State center. A lot of these guys have been around each other. So at least they've got the familiarity with each other. Coach Raiola is back, whether you were excited about that or not. Okay, I've talked about why I believe Matt Rule did that. His players love him. Okay, he's an engaging personality. Okay, so I'm curious to see how we gel as a team, the 3-3-5. It's a little bit more of an intricate defense to put in because you're trying to confuse the offense. You're bringing blitzes from everywhere. You're showing blitz. You're dropping. You're putting 4 down, 3 down. Okay, but whatever it is that we've got to try to figure out and do together here at Nebraska, I don't want to say it pales in comparison to what Coach Dion, Coach Prime Time, is doing at the University of Colorado, but it pales in comparison because he's like 90% or more of his roster is brand new. I think everybody's roster changes a lot now in college football just because of the transfer portal. But when you look at what he's doing, it's crazy. So I'm curious to see how well we gel here at the University of Nebraska with some of the new faces, new coaches, new schemes, new things we're going to do. And then I'm curious to see how they look. I am very much excited about that game. I know everybody is. Okay, Colorado, Nebraska. All right, I got a question. A.A. Ron says, how can Colorado possibly be ready for their first game with so many coming from the portal? Oh, I mean, great question. This is why they're going to be so intriguing. Okay, how much bling is Dion going to wear on the sideline? That's the first thing I'm going to look for in their first game. Okay, and then how is the rest of their team going to look? One thing I do have to point out, and I can't remember if I pointed this out on this show before or not, but when in that first press conference, when he basically named his son Shadur the starter in the press conference, that I was like, that's crazy. And then I believe at the start of spring ball, was he the only player that had a number on his jersey because they all had to earn their numbers on their jersey? I mean, was he the only player with a number on his jersey in the first practice? I thought it was crazy what we saw at Iowa with Ferentz. Okay, Kirk Ferentz not firing his son, Brian Ferentz. Let's be honest. He kept his offensive coordinator, as abysmal as that offense was a year ago. He kept him. And I know they altered the contract and all that. Okay, better average 25 points per game this year. You ain't going to be there next year. Okay, Mr. Brian Ferentz. But He kept him because he was his son. It's crazy that you can still see daddy ball at a major Division I level. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not daddy ball. Maybe he would have done this otherwise. I don't think so, but that was just my thoughts. All right. We have one segment left, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about one of the Husker greats of all time and his son committing here to University of Nebraska. Don't go anywhere.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In coaching news, Lincoln Northwest announced Farrell McGee as its new varsity boys basketball coach. Switching to baseball, districts is right around the corner starting Friday on May 5th. Lincoln East will be the only team to claim a #1 seed for Class A districts. They will take on the winner of Omaha North and Norfolk. Lincoln Southeast will play Omaha Westside in the A1 district. Lincoln Northwest will play Grand Island sitting in the A2 district. Lincoln North Star will face Omaha Northwest, and Lincoln Southwest faces Columbus in the A3 district. Lincoln Pies to 10th plays Papillion La Vista in the A4, and Lincoln High plays Miller North in the A5 district. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we are celebrating a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new Silverado or Sierra, get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount must trade in and finance with a roof credit.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies, warm temps yet again here for our Monday. We'll see an afternoon high near 84. Winds out of the west at around 10 to 15. Overnight mainly clear, a low down to around 58. We'll see increasing clouds tomorrow and a chance of some showers and thunderstorms with a high back near 80. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter, and the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the minute you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
This Mother's Day, prepare an incredible meal for her without all the dishes with the Venue Mother's Day to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat with packages for 2 to 4 people or 6 to 8. And your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, herb-roasted chicken, pork tenderloin, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have many add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Mother's Day. That's venuedelivered.com/Mother's Day.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the final countdown to today's show, the fastest hour in radio each and every week here on The Ticket from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. One final quick shout out to our sponsor, GE Landscape Supply. Check them out at gelandscapesupply.com, number 402-467-1627. All right. Couple of quick things I want to put a button on. Then I want to talk about Neil Smith's son committing here to the University of Nebraska, Mr. Keelan Smith, who is listed one recruiting service as a tight end, one recruiting service as a wide receiver, and an athlete elsewhere. So we'll see where he or what he ends up playing. But real quick, I did look up these numbers, and it's interesting to me because some of the teams in the past, revisiting what's happening at the University of Colorado, just real quick, and then putting a button on it. USC a year ago brought in 26 transfers, and that was considered a ton. Arizona State, 27 transfers. Now, if you look at USC and you times 26 by 3, I'm not a math major, but I'm pretty sure that's 78. That's about the amount of players, give or take, that Deion's going to bring in this year that are going to be new transfer players or new transfer scholarship guys for his Colorado Buffs team. Just to put that in perspective, that's crazy to me. That's mind-blowing, but going to be fun to watch. It will not be boring. That is for sure. All right. The other thing, hey, the folks at The Ticket do a great job, a phenomenal job. It's interesting because sometimes when I do an interview with the show, they'll say I'm like a 5-year NFL vet. Another one might say 6. Another one might say 7. Here, we're going to put the raging debate to bed. Okay. Because when you file for your 401k as a former NFL player, okay, and you're getting some of your insurance and those things taken care of, it's based on the amount of years that you played. So if you played 3 years, you get X amount. If you're 4, you get X amount. Mine says 8 years. So I'm going to say that I was an 8-year NFL vet because that's what they're paying me for as far as like my 401k when that comes into fruition at a certain point, and then the insurance for now. I have terrible vision, so I'm always LASIK surgery like every other year, it feels like anyways. But it's interesting because people have asked me, how many years did you play? Well, I'm going to go by what the NFL says. So that's 8. But all right. I only bring that up because they did a phenomenal job with the intro. But it says 5 years, and I don't know. That's what I'm going to go with. But here's the last thing I want to chat about. All right. Neil Smith, one of the greats of all time, All-American, black shirt, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, one of the best to ever do it. Played here at the University of Nebraska. His son, Keelan Smith, okay, a 3-star out of Kansas City, listed at 6'3", 200 pounds, committed to the University of Nebraska. All right. Now, it's interesting because one of the most common questions that I got after that was, hey, what's the impact of a former Husker son committing to the university? I liken it to someone from the state of Nebraska, and I know he's Kansas City, Missouri. That's pretty close, Midwest. But I've always said that if you can get a kid from the state of Nebraska who's a good football player to come play here, not just anybody. You got to be good at football first. That's a prerequisite. I feel like I have to explain that, and I don't know why. Because people are like, you just want everybody from Nebraska. No, I want good football players from Nebraska to come play at Nebraska because it means more to them. They're going to work harder. They're going to work longer. They're going to have a different attitude, a different mentality. It's going to mean more to them. They're going to stay here longer, especially in this day and age of the transfer portal. Okay. They're going to be in the weight room when somebody else who's if they're having a hard time, they might just spend more time in the weight room. They might go harder in practice. Whereas someone who's from out of state, I'm not saying this is across the board. Not at all. Everybody's different. Every case is different. But with the way people transfer nowadays, someone from out of state, say the state of California, I don't know. You could pick New Jersey, Delaware, Hawaii, Alaska. We'll go with Alaska. I don't know why. It just seems weird, funny. Let's go with it. I'm going to go back home to Alaska. Why? Because it's closer to home and I got an offer from a team there in Alaska. Bad choice because there's no Division I college football team there. But you get my point. Okay. Former Huskers son, I kind of liken it to that. Their dad obviously has a tie to the university. They probably grew up watching Nebraska. It's probably going to mean more to them. Okay. You look at my story. I was born in Hastings, moved to the state of Washington when I was 3, grew up in the state of Washington, but my dad is the biggest Husker fan I've ever met in my life. Okay. And I grew up watching Nebraska right next to him and everyone in my family. My in-laws they're Husker to the core. So that was inbred in me in a very positive manner, and it meant more to me. All right. Man, that flew by. I'm excited to see what Mr. Keeling can do when he arrives on campus, wherever they decide to put him in whatever position he plays. Until next time, go Big Red, and always remember, go the Birds.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Walters Painting Incorporated salutes our Vietnam veterans for Memorial Day, May 29th. Our Vietnam veterans fought in a difficult, complex war. Please offer the long overdue respect they deserve. Jeff Walters of Walters Painting Incorporated is your interior, exterior, commercial, and residential painter. He doesn't cut corners, he paints them. To book an estimate, visit walterspainting.com or call 402-730-1781.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care.